Hello, welcome back to the Mailbag of June of 2020. And boy, this has been a crazy month, huh? I think we're all a little bit exhausted by now, what with what's going on right now. So let's just get to the questions. And if you would like your question answered, leave it in the comment section of this video, and I'll get to it next month. The footage in the background is just going to be some Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I've been playing more games recently, just in my spare time, like actually just playing and enjoying them, and just enjoying things in general in my spare time, as opposed to doing them to sort of pass the time, if that makes sense. Like I would normally put on some YouTube stuff or like a podcast or something, and then like play like a non-thinky game in the background. But recently I've been doing things and actually focusing on them, like watching shows. Like I watched The Witcher recently after putting that off, and now I plan to watch some other things too and play some other games, like just playing them. I haven't done that in a while, and it's crazy to just like pay attention to a game, you know? Anyway, on to the questions. I saw your tweet that said, I just want to be cute, that's all, and I feel that, but also I feel embarrassed to admit it. Do you find cutesy fan art of yourself or JoCat's art validating and or embarrassing? A little bit of both. Yeah, it is a little embarrassing. I think we've all got our own insecurities and wants. And I guess for me right now, my current growth as a person is coming to terms with my self-expression and kind of my relationship with societal gender norms, I guess. I do want to be cute, you know? Whenever I see a girl that, puts on some makeup or wears a nice outfit or takes a nice looking selfie, I do envy the feeling that they must get from seeing themselves that way. And, you know, that is a way that I would like to be able to see myself, if not exactly in the same way. I'm not an egg. I'm very secure and confident in my own gender identity. I've never felt any sort of temptation to transition or anything like that. I like being a boy. And I bring that up because some people are probably going to bring it up. It's like, oh, is Joe trans? It's like, no, I like being a dude. I envy the kind of attention girls get. Sometimes they get a lot of unwanted attention that I do not envy. But yeah, sometimes I do. There is a part of me that is jealous of the kind of adoration a girl gets sometimes, and you know, I sometimes draw myself or have behavioral stuff that lends itself to maybe having a little bit of that. I don't know if that makes sense, but I guess it makes sense to me. Is it embarrassing? Oh yeah, as with anything of trying to become the person you want to become, sometimes you're gonna do things that your insecurities are gonna be like, no, stop, because, you know, all your life you're being told, just stay in your lane. But, fuck that. You lose a bet to a wizard and you'll now be cursed. However, you get to choose the curse. Would you rather be turned into a centipede with your mind or a golden retriever with the mind of a golden retriever? So turn into a centipede with my brain and no way to communicate whatsoever. I guess I could try to communicate, like drawing on a sheet of paper, or just get turned into a dog. I think I would go with dog, mostly for survivability reasons. I don't think a centipede is as likely. So if I were to be transformed right now in my office, then I would just be a centipede in my office and crawling around, and my dad would probably either squash me or throw me outside, neither of which I am into. But if I were turned into a dog, well, that would bring up a few mysteries. Firstly, I wouldn't be killed immediately or just put out, because golden retrievers are like, they're one of the most beloved dog breeds, and my dad loves animals, so he would probably, you know, keep me around. And, you know, I would like the attention. You know, it seems like dogs, they live in the moment, you know? They seem like they have a nice life whenever they have a nice owner. And it seems most of the time a dog is not wanting for much. Plus, if there was a dog in the house, that would raise a bunch of mysteries. Like I said, how did a dog get in here? Where did Joe go? So I think that would also lower the mystery of my disappearance. Perhaps. I think current human me would probably be happier, kind of assuming that some people that I know would assume that I've been transformed into a dog, rather than be transformed into a centipede and just everyone just being curious about my disappearance forever. Would you consider playing the Ori games? If you love Hollow Knight, you'll love Ori. I played the original Ori a little bit when it was back on like Xbox 360 when I had one. I got lost and confused, and I guess I just had other games that I wanted to play at the time, so I never really got back to it. And also Metroidvanias scare me. I think I got lost a little bit, looked at the map, saw how big it was, and I was like, ugh, and then I got intimidated. But maybe one day I'll go back to it. It looks gorgeous. How are you? I'm hanging in there. I definitely feel luckier than a lot of people right now. With the Crap Guide series and JoCat character in general, are you going to use it/him for individual vids going forward, or are you doing another series? I'm not sure. I have two possibilities. Either using him for other possible one-off videos once the D&D videos are done, or just retiring the character altogether and the format. The latter I know is probably going to make a lot of people sad, but I don't know. I just not feeling it anymore, you know? I want to do other things. I want to do new things. Because the last resort when it comes to my YouTube channel, I think, would be to kind of just do and rely on a single type of video. Because ultimately, I think the most consistent way a channel can grow and earn, success and do well consistently is to make one type of content most of the time. There are, some channels that do a variety of stuff as long as it's not like too much, as long as there's like a consistent kind of handful of shows maybe, and that's what I have right now. But I think I'm gonna try and even cut those down a little bit and focus in on like maybe 2 shows. And I think to myself, if I had to do one show, kind of one style of video for the rest of my YouTube career, and I asked myself, would that be the Crap Guides? The answer is no. I think I would like to do other stuff. What do you think is the most important thing to focus on when you draw? If it comes to characters, a good pose. And I guess if you wanted to break that down, for me personally, a good silhouette. So if you were to take the character's outline, fill it in black, or take the character's color and shape, fill it in black, is their silhouette still good? Is it readable? Does it convey character? What does it say about their character? What does it say about what they're doing? Are they doing an action? Is it a boring action? Are they just walking? Are they just standing basic? For me, when it comes to drawing characters, their pose is very, very important. And for me, the best thing about a pose is its silhouette and how that reads. But if you're not talking about character drawing and you're talking about drawing in general, I guess shapes, I don't know, line work, making sure your lines are confident. I think that's a pretty good one. I don't know, that's such a broad question, but I guess those are my multiple answers. I couldn't possibly pick one because there's way more to drawing than one thing. Wow, you play Terraria? I love that game. Can we see some gameplay? The last update is now. As much as I like making gaming videos and streaming gaming stuff and making highlights and overly edited, I think I'm going to stray a little bit further away from gaming content because I think there's less people who want to watch that than the more produced stuff like the animations and crap guides and I've also just kind of fallen out of favor of making those because I feel like I want to make stuff that sets apart my channel, or at least videos that set themselves apart from other videos, and I don't think the overly editeds are doing that anymore, really. Personally, anyway. I know that's gonna make a few people sad, but I mean, there's always the VODs channel if you want to watch me play it and see my reactions to stuff. Because most of the games I play, I stream. I don't remember the last time I did a recording that wasn't streamed. But you could always just watch it there, And, I got a balance between people wanting to see it and me wanting to make it. And I do like to put a little bit more weight on what I want to make. And I don't think I want to make those anymore, really. At least not anytime soon. I've got no big, roadmap of okay, this show is going to be canceled at this time, and I'm going to start it's all in my head, and it all just comes when it comes, Or stops when it stops. If you haven't already, would you consider playing The Messenger? It's my favorite indie game, barely passing Celeste and Hollow Knight. Like most games, I don't know, I'll get to it maybe, or maybe I won't. There's just a lot of games in my library that I want to play. Actual question, how do you collab with Overly Sarcastic Productions? I saw the Hollow Knight livestream and was amazed by 2 of my favorite YouTubers collabing when I never expected it. Yeah, I would like to collab with them one day, proper make a video together. They've used, I think my Smite in one of Blue's history videos. I think it was for Pope Wars and stuff, which is pretty cool. And I think it's just a matter of both of us liking each other's content. And I guess I saw one of their streams, I donated to them, and then they saw the donation and recognized me. So, and then from there, we just kind of talked to each other on Twitter, and we're like, hey, they contacted me, they were like, hey, you want to join us for this charity thing? I was like, yeah, sure. I played Hollow Knight, I'll watch you play Hollow Knight, and yeah. So yeah, we talk, we're good acquaintances. I would like to do a collab with them one day. I don't know what, but that'd be pretty cool. If you're asking me what I would like to do, I'd love to be on an episode of Trope Talk. I don't know which trope, I don't care. I just love analyzing tropes. Have you ever heard of the visual novel called Coffee Talk? I recommend giving it some look for some good vibes. See my previous answer about trying out different games. If you were a Pokemon gym leader, what type would you use? If I had to pick a type, I guess either grass or ghost, because those are my two favorite types. Maybe a mixture of the two, because there's a surprising amount of grass and ghost types already. It's really a coin flip between the two, but if it was possible, I would like to be a variety gym leader, like maybe theme it after something. Maybe I could be like a sound-based gym leader with a bunch of sound-based Pokemon, like a Cricketune and an Exploud and I don't know, like a Chatot. Maybe a better team than that, but you know, I would like to make it themed, not based on any one type and get steamrolled. No, I want to be a proper challenge. Maybe they'd be a bunch of weapons, like I'll have an Aegislash and a Shieldon and a Gallade, you know, a bunch of swords and shield Pokemon. Honestly, would you consider uploading more sped up drawing videos like this with chill music in the background? I guess so, yeah. I guess if people like watching it. I have wanted one idea to make one show of just, you know, those typical time lapses of just drawing a thing and putting it up on the channel. But I guess this is an opportunity for me to do that. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll upload some of my drawing for the next mailbags. That would be some nice backdrop, and it would give me an excuse to draw more, because I don't draw as often as you think. Do you have any strange habits or quirks that aren't super important? And if you could give one character from any game a hug and or pat on the head, which one? I kind of pick the skin on the edge of my thumb with my index and middle fingernails, just out of a force of habit. It doesn't seem to do any long-term stuff, but, you know, pulls off a little bit of skin every now and then. I've not gotten any scars yet. Should probably stop before any come. Yeah, you know, like the little squishy skin, right where the thumbnail like hits the edge of the thumb. I like to scratch that part. And give any character a hug. Geez. Emotionally, I would love to give a hug to most of the characters in Wandersong. I've been streaming that a lot recently, and I just love all of the characters, and I just want to give them all a hug, especially Miriam. She needs it. Lord knows she needs it. A comfortable hug, like a hug that I think would feel comfy. I think Torio, you know, the fluffy goat fur would be very, very comfortable, like hugging a nice floofy pillow, or Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. Something about characters with large builds seem like they would give nice hugs. Or Storig. Yeah, my character Storig. He's also got kind of a wide, large build and a kind of a little bit of a belly. I think he would give nice hugs. Do you watch any D&D campaigns? If so, which ones? I don't actually. I'm not... D&D podcasts aren't actually my thing. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of hard for me to follow kind of where the plot's going and what the characters are doing, so it just kind of phases out. And I know that's kind of a way to enjoy them. That is a valid way to enjoy it, if you're just not really knowing what's going on. But I think if I would want to watch, you know, or listen to one, I would like to know what's going on and just, you know, be in the know. But I know that I would get bored because D&D has a lot of downtime, and most D&D podcasts don't cut those out, or even if they do cut them out, there's still a lot of, you know, downtime of the stumbling over words and awkward moment and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe I just haven't found the right one. Here's a fun question. What's your favorite independent music artist? If you're talking about indie bands, then I don't know any. But one that I do know of, DJ Cutman. I really like DJ Cutman. He does remixes of like video game music. One that kind of dropped off the face of YouTube for a long time, but recently started doing more stuff, goes by Musical Wolf. He used to do Minecraft note block covers of songs and then started composing like a bunch of original stuff. And then he went to college, left YouTube for several years, and came back and started composing more stuff. But his viewership has completely dropped off. But I still listen to his stuff. He does like covers and originals and stuff. Those are the immediate two that come to mind. Ooh, actually, Ska-Tune Network. He's great. He does ska covers of just awesome, just amazing ska covers of songs. Yeah, highly recommend him. Can you give some tips on being a DM in regards to preparation and learning how to be one? So, the scary thing about being a DM is thinking that you have to do a lot of prep work. You don't. You can, but you don't. Make it up as you go along, try to figure out how things fit, and try to say yes as much as you can to the players, or at least let them roll for it. As far as prepping, just get a list of names, get a loot table, get a list of locations, and, you know, a few notable maybe side quests or happenings or things that can happen in the game. And if the players don't go to a thing that you plan on them to go to, save it and use it later. But, I mean, the DM's job, all it is just to tell the players what happens based on their roll, and you probably do that as a player already as well. Whenever you see somebody roll a number, you can probably imagine in your head, okay, well, what does a 15 mean when they roll on that? What does a 16 mean? What does a 2 mean, you know? Oh, they rolled a nat 1, how badly can that go, you know? How would I do it? So, you know, when you're a player, try analyzing how you're not overanalyzing and not judging, but analyzing and studying how your DM deals with rolls, when they ask for rolls, and think to yourself, okay, why did they ask for that roll? Start studying your DM. See how they do it. Do you still play piano? No, I don't, and I don't feel too compelled to get back into it. Maybe I'll just play it every now and then if I feel and want to, like, do a piece of music or something. If I want to turn it into a video or something. I don't know, but no, I don't play piano anymore. When it comes to Fantasy World, swords seem to be the reigning champ of weaponry, even though swords weren't used too often in the real world. What other kinds of weapons would you like to see represented in Fantasy Worlds and games? More axes, spears, etc. I would like there to be, you know, an equal opportunity of all different types of weapons. I like when there's an equal amount of representation of axes, and spears, and polearms, and daggers, and bows, and all that good stuff, you know? Just like a bunch of weapon classes, you know? I think rapiers is one that kind of gets the short end of the stick a lot of the time. Sword spears, that's another cool one. Just a bunch of different weapons. I just want more weapon classes in games in general, and just to be equally represented as swords. I love swords and all. Swords are my favorite, but yeah, other weapons, please give them some love. I like to believe the reason I'm not into axes is because there's not enough axes in games to make me think that they're cool. Because if there were as many axes in, say, Dark Souls as there were swords in general, like including curved swords and straight swords and long swords and great swords, if there were as many axes, I'm sure there would be more axes that I liked in Dark Souls. This one asks about the crap guides again, which I answered earlier, but there's a follow-up question. Are there any crap guides you would like to make but you probably won't? Remaking most of the crap guide to the D&D classes, most of the earlier ones. I would probably want to remake Bard. I think Cleric is fine. I would probably want to remake Paladin because I didn't really go over the archetypes. Druid because that's a weak episode. And Ranger because there are no plans to revise it and I think I want to represent it better. But I'm probably not going to do that. I think they're fine. It's fine. I don't want to keep going in circles with this series. I won't be doing Crap Guide to Homebrew. If I did, I would probably do like one all-encompassing homebrew episode that would explain why I don't do Crap Guide to Homebrew classes. Probably not Blood Hunter because I don't see Blood Hunter becoming official anytime soon. If it does, I'll eat my words and I will do it, but until then, I just can't guarantee that it's not going to be changed again, and then people will be asking, oh, Blood Hunter got changed, this is outdated, could you do another one? It's like, I gotta draw the line, you know. Are the aliens going to have a chance to invade before the meteor strikes, or do they still have time? I don't know the context of this question. Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you were waiting for the right moment and method to do something, only to lose the opportunity entirely? That is a very specific, while simultaneously very generic question, and to answer that, yes. I do find myself in that situation a lot of the time. What is love? A bunch of chemicals in our brain that makes us happy. Do you use animation software? Yes. If you have to choose between sandwiches and art, which do you choose? Who's to say sandwiches aren't already an art? What are your thoughts on homebrew, and is there any homebrew for D&D that you yourself have made or like to incorporate into your games? I like homebrew. I think I prefer it when the DM does homebrew rather than the players, because if things go awry, then that's kind of on the DM. I don't know. I always just feel a little maybe bit of jealousy or a little unfairness whenever another player if I'm a player and another player has a homebrew, or when I'm a DM and a player has a homebrew because it's not tested, we can't guarantee its balance, and it's just, I don't know, feels unfair. Unless the homebrew explicitly makes the player weaker, I guess, which I guess I don't have a problem with if you just like the flavor. But I always feel like whatever the player's homebrewing, you could always just like the D&D official D&D content has so much stuff to it that you could probably just like find something that you could reflavor into what you want, I always feel like people who immediately go to homebrew kind of need to try and explore their options first. Sometimes what you're looking for is already available. But for DMs, I say, homebrew away, go ahead. Most of the time, things are homebrewed anyway because a lot of veteran players have seen everything that D&D has to offer, so in order to make things new and exciting, most DMs kind of homebrew or house rule a bunch of things already. They make unique monsters. They make unique items. For me, I made a few unique items. There's one called the Wicker Belt, which like gives you a bunch of enhancements based on your class. It's really cool because it's unique for every different class. Like for paladins, it makes your lay on hands ranged, and you can whatever healing you give to someone, it gives half to a few other party members within range. I know it sounds super powerful, but that's because it's a very powerful item. Or like, for rogues, your sneak attack always deals max damage, things like that. There's also the Ring of Certainty, which, lets you know the difficulty class of a task at hand once a day, or the Stick of Stickiness, which does something different every campaign, depending on how the player uses it. I love making homebrew items. How do you make good video commentary when either recording or streaming? You need practice with improv, mostly just a lot of practice. But as far as streaming goes, where there's a lot of downtime, where in recording you can just cut out the downtime and the silence. With streaming, talk about your thoughts. Talk about what you're thinking about. Have a few stories at hand. Write them down on a notepad and have them next to your desk so that you can read them off if you feel there's some downtime with nothing going on. That's how I do it anyway. Whether or not it's good, though, it's content, but I don't know if it's good content. How to make it good, I would just say practice. Can I have the recipe for the sandwich in the April Fool's video? Never. What do you think about Destiny 1 and 2? They are very fine looter shooters that do not provide enough depth or complexity for my personal liking, but they feel really, really fun to play. And sometimes I'll find myself playing it just because it feels nice, and getting some loot is pretty good. Although there's a bunch of like minor stuff that annoy me sometimes, like some of the menuing and the kind of lack of customization when it comes to how your character plays, and kind of the very, very, very bare bones streamlining of gameplay customization. The three different branches that your guardian has as far as their subclass goes and all that stuff. But otherwise, this is a very fun game, It's fascinating to play a MMO style raid from a FPS gameplay perspective, and Bungie pulls it off super duper well. And my time playing Destiny 2 raids are still one of the most fun and satisfying things that I've ever done in that game. If you could make another playable monster race from any official 5e book, what would it be? I'm not familiar with the monsters in the official booklets. I don't really look much past like the players' stuff. I don't really look at all the different monster stuff. I definitely should, because they could probably give me some good ideas to throw into my campaign. I think that's enough questions for this video. It's really late when I'm recording this. I just woke up, I guess, from asleep, and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I thought, might as well record. Again, if you have a question that you would like answered, you can put it in the comment section of this video, and I'll get to it next month. I'll see you then. Bye.